Tonight on Debate Amongst Friends, NFL news, including coaches on the hot seat, and, and the playoffs are in full swing as stories are starting to develop. NBA news, including Jimmy Butler finally traded, Carmelo potentially on his way out, and is there trouble in the Bay, and so much more starting now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fine edition of Debate Amongst Friends, live on YouTube and also on Periscope. For those that are listening on Periscope, we're glad to have you here today. This is the 15th edition of the Sports Podcast on November 14, 2018. We're 1 week away from Thanksgiving. We have ourselves a pretty packed show for you tonight. I am the Professor John Gotti, and always by my side, the person who I am advocating for in the winner's corner, the reigning, defending, undisputed podcast champ, Doc Lesnar. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself, sir?
I'm actually pretty good. I mean, there was some highs, some lows. I mean, it was quite an eventful week for us all. I'm ready to get started. You know, Rudy Tooty, Candy Patootie, rock bottling people all over this place.
Absolutely. I know we got a jam-packed show, so let's dive right into it. I know the people have been waiting. We're a little late. We definitely apologize, but we are here, and let us go in.
Let's
the
do
debate
it.
zone.
So the big news, and let's just get this out of the way right now. And it's not just for our benefits, but it's for you, the people's benefits as well, too. The drama in Golden State that occurred, there's two parts to this scenario. One part was at the end of the game versus the Hawks 2 nights ago. Draymond Green took it upon himself to take the ball and bring it down the court to try to play hero at the end of the game, because they was trying to get the game-winning shot so they don't have to go to overtime. Of course, something bad happened. He pretty much boffed the ball and ended up going into overtime, in which they ended up losing the game. It caused some turmoil between himself and Kevin Durant, who was asking for the ball, unlike a certain king who was like, I didn't know we had any timeouts. But it basically led to them jawing back and forth on the bench, and as well as, you know, after the game in the locker room. Some things were said, you know, possible feelings were hurt, and the aftermath of all this, the other night for their game, Draymond Green was suspended from playing the game. So it led to many and all facts of life, both analysts and fans alike, to say, are the Golden State Warriors in trouble? Is the dynasty over? Is the vacation done? Doc, what are your thoughts?
Well, I was trying to figure out if there were any timeouts left so we can use the J.R. Smith reference.
There's been at least, and this is for me counting, at least 10 different J.R. Smith references in this dilemma right now.
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, obviously Draymond Green is better than J.R. Smith, but you know, I could understand KD being upset. But, you know, I think about when people would be in 2K, for example, we would have definitely called timeout. They would have called timeout so fast if they had timeouts. And that's the part I don't know. But my thing is, Draymond in this situation, was he right? No. Was he wrong? No. I mean, he runs up the court. He gets a rebound. He runs up the court. He looks for an open shooter. It just so happens this time around, he lost the ball and it went into overtime. I'm not 100% sure if there is bad blood between the two. I know the Warriors always have issues that Steve Kerr has to manage. I mean, but that's why Steve Kerr makes the big bucks.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from. Here's my take on it. And, maybe 1.00 repeating, of course, of the analyst that's been talking about this for the past day and a half now, especially with the revealing and enforcement of the Draymond Green suspension was, we would not be talking about this if Draymond Green made a play to lead to the Golden State Warriors victory. It's only the fact that they ended up losing the game that everyone is talking about this. Now, that's one part of the take. The second part of the take is this is also leading to the dialogue of, well, Golden State Warriors front office is just trying to make Kevin Durant happy. Golden State Warriors front office is trying to make sure that Kevin Durant doesn't leave after this season is over for free agency, in which people keep saying that he's going to join LeBron James in Los Angeles, which I highly doubt that's going to happen. And if people thought that he was soft before going to the Golden State Warriors, imagine what people are going to say now. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna caveat that. I'm going to say there are going to be more people supportive of Kevin Durant if he goes to LA to join up with LeBron than if he was to go to somewhere like my Knickerbockers.
Which is where he's going. So let's just end that right now.
Which, once again, as much as I don't want him there, and I've already been told the reason why, it's up to James Dolan, it's up to the GM, president of basketball operations, it's up to them to make those moves. I already put out the meme today saying, I mean, I'm fine with my team's record because, we're not doing the greatest right now, but at the same time, I mean, we have the potential of getting Zion or RJ or any of these cats from Duke. Like, that's why that's why when I said all I cared about was them competing, now you understand what I mean. But back to the KD situation, though, like, I don't understand what the big deal of this is. Like, Draymond Green is always going to get in people's faces. Kevin Durant is always going to be snake-like, almost like a certain viper in a certain entertainment business, and strike people when they least expect it. But
I disagree.
But the notion and the acclamations of the front office pandering to Kevin Durant's ego, I feel like that might be too far, because now that's going to create negative dialogue, not just between those two, but potentially for the rest of the team as well too. Because you're trying to say, well, this person is the team, and he's that important to the team that they're willing to forsake everyone else.
Absolutely not. I disagree. And I'm going to tell you why I disagree. I disagree because if you watch the argument on the sideline, and I would have to read more articles. No. I'm saying if you watch it closely, you see Kevin Durant saying, okay, whatever, I'm good. And then Draymond, in the midst of the huddle, continues to kind of feed into it. So it's not just, hey, let's give Draymond a pass because it's Draymond. It's, hey, we're in a huddle now. Now Steve Kerr. Hold on. Let me finish. Now Steve Kerr is trying to organize an overtime strategy, and you have somebody who's continuing to jaw on, and now the entire team is getting us. I'm telling you, you sit there and you watch. KD is sitting there. He said his piece in the beginning, and then he kind of let it go. Draymond kind of kept coming into him, and he's like, okay. And then you see when he left.
Coming on to Kevin Durant. I can't believe you said that on live
TV. Hey, people know what I mean. Don't try to interrupt my point here, but literally, Kevin Durant said, okay, several times. Draymond could have dropped it at any point. This is supposed to be a team. He could have dropped it. He did not. That's why he was suspended, because he couldn't drop it. And ultimately, that very well could have led to them losing. Granted, you're absolutely right. If somebody makes a shot, if he would have made a shot, we wouldn't be talking about this. But that's every point of every news. If Tom Brady would have beat the Titans, we wouldn't be talking about that later. If the Falcons would have beat the Browns, we wouldn't be talking about that later. That's news. I'm okay with that. But my thing is, if we're getting into conspiracy theories, saying that now we're painting a picture that KD is leaving the Warriors, I mean, this is the NBA. This is conspiracy theory. They're setting this up so that KD can leave the Warriors because of Draymond, who they can easily trade Draymond at any point if they really wanted to keep KD. Any point. Especially if they're trying to get Anthony Davis to come on board. I mean, at any point they could trade him. So I mean, I don't know. I'm not buying it.
It's hard for me to buy into the hype that there's drama in the Bay, and here's why. We're talking about a group of individuals who, unlike a certain banana boat crew, was like, you know what? The old guys did it. We're younger, we're faster and stronger, and hey, we could be 3-time champs in a row, baby.
And just a quick correction here: the Warriors actually did win the game
against the Hawks.
They won the game. It just went to overtime.
Could have sworn they lost the game.
No, they won. I was looking at it. I was like, let me just check really quickly because I was looking for something else. But they did win the game.
I could have sworn they lost. But if they won it, then hey, I've been staying corrected. I really thought they lost that game.
But continue. You were making a point. I'm sorry.
You sure, sir?
Now let me tell you. So he was suspended for the game against the Hawks. The game that we're talking about is a game against the Clippers in which they lost to the Clippers.
That's the one that I'm talking about.
You had said the Hawks earlier, so that's why I was looking.
I was saying that was the game that Draymond got suspended for. Was for the
Gotcha. I want to make sure the people are clear.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? I know they lost that game that began the drama. Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's why I was like, wait a minute. So, but go ahead. What were you saying here about not buying into the drama?
Oh, well, I'm not buying into the drama because, like, on one side, I can understand, people want to cause drama to create cash. Eric Bischoff said it best. Controversy creates cash. But the problem is if they would just do it just to create that kind of tension, that's one thing. The fact that they continually now trying to create the narrative of KD going to join LeBron, that's when I stop believing the hype. Because it's what everyone wants to happen.
But at the same time, these guys
to happen.
But at the same time, these guys are friends. I mean, I can understand both
absolutely.
Points.
Absolutely, they're friends. I mean, they're buddying it up. Like this isn't the NBA of the '90s, ladies and gentlemen, where y'all could be buddies off the floor, but on the floor, I hate your freaking guts.
And we can continue on, but I mean, the last thing I would say about this, I mean, they're competitive. Ultimately, if you look at Draymond's perspective, they won a championship without KD. So he's saying, who are you to take who are you to come in here, even though you've been here for, some time? This isn't your team. We invited you here. This is still our house, and you're still just a visitor until you sign that long-term deal. You know what I mean? Because obviously he signed these one-year deals, probably rubbing some people the wrong way. But ultimately, I mean, he's an outsider still.
I mean, if that's the feeling that he's getting, I can understand why he's trying to leave. But as more stuff comes, into fruition, and of course during the press conference before the Hawks game, of course that ended up being major news because they had the front office talking about the Draymond suspension, about the tensions and whether or not there's drama there. And they also had KD talking about it as well, too. And he was just like, there's really nothing to talk about. Like, it's already pretty much been squashed. So I don't know why you guys are still talking about whatever. Like, someone would ask basketball questions. Which I'm going to say bravo to KD right there. Like, ask them a basketball question. Let's talk about the game ahead. Yeah, granted, it's, the Hawks, but at the same time, like, let's talk about basketball. Like that's what we're here to do. We're here to play some basketball.
I mean, sounds like they were talking about practice, but that's neither here nor there.
But speaking of Iverson, let's jump ship from one side of the U.S. to the other side, and let's head over to West Philadelphia, born and raised, because they have a brand new player Star player.
Cloud cleared.
Cloud cleared. A certain
Gotti cloud
Butler.
cleared. Yes. Gotti cloud cleared. Reads no more, hopefully, in this situation. Jimmy Butler was not traded to the Houston Rockets for 19,000 picks. Eric Gordon and whoever else they wanted to throw in there.
Which I did say that was me trolling.
It's fine. I'm just happy it didn't come
but
true.
I will say I enjoyed the move. So Jimmy Butler was traded from Minnesota over to Philadelphia. So he is now part of the Philadelphia 76ers roster now. In fact, they should be playing now because that would be tonight would be his debut night against the Orlando Magic, actually.
So they are playing now. Right now, they're losing 53 to 52 at halftime to the Orlando Magic. I'm going to be honest. I did not like the trade, and I'm going to be honest with you. I like Saric. I love Covington. I think Covington makes the deal a little sweet because it gives them a player to pair with Wiggins. I think, and not Karl-Anthony Towns, because Karl-Anthony Towns is going to do what he's going to do. But I think Covington and Wiggins, I think it's going to be a really, really dynamic team. Saric, Gerald Bayless, I mean, in a 2022 second-round pick, I think I don't know, that's low to me. I like Covington. I'm okay with Saric, but that second-round pick, when you had the opportunity to get 4, and I know these are going to be late first-round picks, but you could have swapped those for something else, and you're picking up Eric Gordon, and I believe we were throwing in Nene or somebody like that, Marquise Chris, or one of those young guys. But it's like, I think, even though I didn't want it to happen, I'm happy that, they did this deal. I was just surprised by the lack of picks. It seemed like Tibbs was like, you know what, let's just make this happen so we can move on. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think it was he kind of settled in this situation.
I felt like Tibbs didn't want to pull a New York Knick and give the team trading for the star player absolutely everything.
True.
And that's what I like about the trade. Like, I felt like given the pieces from both sides, because it wasn't just Jimmy Butler that was going with the deal. Mm-hmm. But I felt like it was a fair trade. I felt like all the pieces added together and offset each other. In retrospect, of course. Of course, we got to see how it's going to apply with the Timberwolves going forward. But, I mean, and so 2 things with this. One, I'm going to call out the entire sports media for the NBA because people are saying how much this is going to turn into a train wreck. People were saying that Jimmy Butler's a diva. He's hard to work with. The 76ers took a step back. I'm calling out all those analysts that's been saying that. And that also includes Stan Van Gundy, Jeff's brother, who said that it's not going to work. I disagree. I think, and people kept saying the Joel Embiid factor of him being happy-go-lucky isn't going to mesh well with Jimmy Butler's defensive mentality coming into a new team. I beg to differ. We could potentially look at a very, very dangerous defensive team going forward, heading into the playoffs. The possibility and the influence that Jimmy Butler will bring to a team. Like, you remember? Okay. Do you remember how the Pistons, the Chauncey Billups Pistons teams, they wasn't the best offensively, but they will hold you down. They was usually top 3 in defenses every year for that run. Usually like top 3. I think the last 2 years they was maybe 9 to 12. But that's because of injuries and whatnot. We're talking about a team that could do that and can score.
Yeah. I agree. I think they're going to be good. I think, honestly, it was an important move because it kind of makes it possible for the 76ers to kind of keep up with a team like the Raptors who got Kawhi.
Yep.
You think about you got the Celtics who, even though they're struggling right now, once they click, I think it's going to be something really, really big. But I agree. I mean, I think the only thing I don't know why they would think that Jimmy is a diva. I mean, the only thing he actually to the Timberwolves. He was traded to the Timberwolves, so
Yep.
that's my only thing. And now he said, "Hey, I didn't want to come here." Which that's why Tibbs would get fired in the situation because, I mean, he gave up a lot for Jimmy Butler. He gave up a lot, and he didn't really get much in return on the back end. And that, if they don't win, could spell doom for him.
I mean, I can agree with that. I mean, I just didn't see Minnesota getting over that hump. And you heard me, and we both agreed, like, Wiggins, for as much raw talent that he has, is just something that's missing with him. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's just something. Like he hasn't necessarily elevated himself in the 2 spot to, like, really take over games yet. And you know, Cat, he definitely can dominate a game, but, like, it's just I don't see the fire behind it. Like it's like they're okay being oh so ran as long as they can, and you know, maybe they're in the phase of their career where they just want to get paid. And you know what? More power to you. But at
Absolutely.
the same time, you also want to compete to win. Like, yeah, making it to the playoffs, getting that, you know, making it to the playoff bonus check is great, but I mean, why not go to the second round and the third round and the conference finals and potentially even the finals? The payday for those are even higher. But it's up to those players to have the drive to want to make that happen. And I can understand why Jimmy Butler had beef with that. You know, because I honestly couldn't see it. I took a chance to watch a couple of highlights from a couple of their games from last season, and a lot of the fire and passion, Jimmy Butler was the catalyst of it.
I agree. I think he was their star player. I don't think Cat, maturity-wise, is ready, but they're going to feel his presence. They're going to miss his presence, and hopefully Cat can step up. You know, that's really the only option that they have at this point.
I mean, I hope Jimmy make them want to, you know, remember him. Like, you know, the Wolverine memes where he's like stroking the pitcher. Like, I want that to happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that's probably not going to be the only. I mean, it seems like what we're going to talk about, the next 2 topics potentially, what we're going to talk about
I mean,
is all
all I'm gonna
about
say
people
is, all I'm gonna
dissing
say is, and
people.
we'll continue after this. All I'm gonna say is, I'm just happy that the Atlantic Division in the Eastern Conference is looking so strong.
Absolutely.
Because we have, I believe they said, almost every top player except for one, and we all know who that is, a certain freak from Greece,
Mm-hmm.
is all in the Eastern Conference and all coming from the Atlantic Division.
Mm-hmm. Mm. There
So
you
that's why
go.
I'm happy. My division is looking stronger. My Knicks stink, but my
Mm.
division is looking stronger.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about. We went from 2 dramas. Let's ante up and go 3 for 3. Let's talk about a certain Melo potentially
Okay.
packing his bags out of Houston. What's Doc? You're the resident Houston Rockets fanatic. You're the resident Houston Rockets subject matter expert. Tell the people what is going on here. I mean, I understand. I mean, even the Rocket Red just fly across your screen, just grabbing stuff off of it. Like, they're just trying to get rid of Melo right now. What's going on?
I don't like it. I really don't like it. I think that Carmelo is being the scapegoat for problems that we had already. I think that I don't like it. I'm hoping that we don't trade him. I hope we don't cut him, whatever they're gonna do.
I think they're going to end up releasing him. They're going to buy his contract.
I don't like it. I think it's a poor move. I don't. I just don't agree with it. It's just certain things that everybody was cold. The whole team was cold, and I hate that it's going down like this. I really do. And everybody's just like, everybody's been talking about how, he was gonna not fit and all this other stuff, and I hate that it proved people right. Especially when the entire team was cold. I didn't see ridiculously terrible defense from him. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. I expected him to give me 10 to 14 points a game. That's what he gave me, and I don't know. I just didn't like it.
I love this if this happens. And it's for a lot of the reason that you're saying, but it's for the opposite reason. I want, and I enjoy seeing people become hypocrites of their own words, of their own predictions. I want to inject some gaudy poison into their hearts. I want them to see that the issue with the Houston Rockets is not solely on Carmelo Anthony. It's not. But it's easy to put the blame on him because he has a really bad defensive efficiency. And he ranks individually and defensive PER. But that means nothing when it comes to the team's production as a whole and where they were last year compared to this year. Because last year, and you hate people keep saying this, but last year they had pieces that allowed them to be really good defensively. Because they had two really great wing defenders in a league where people shoot threes 80-something% of the time. We're talking about really high pace of play, really high possessions, really high shots attempted per game that we've seen in NBA history. But now that the Rockets are, under 500 still? Playing abysmal ball right now. I mean, it's to the fact that the Doc not even watching their games or even the highlights. But it's easy to blame Carmelo Anthony because, yeah, he stinks defensively. He'll get you your points. Let me say it like Stephen A. Smith. He'll get you your points. He'll get you your points. It's defense that's going to be the problem.
So this is what I will say. I mean, we're 6-7 right now. I mean, we're right there at 500 basically.
I know, but I think the issue is like people had higher expectations for them since they were only one game off of making it to the NBA Finals last year. So
see,
part of the issue that is hype.
That's hypocrites though. How are you gonna say in one breath that we're expecting more from you, and then in the next breath, hey, you lost two defensive wings? And these are the same people talking, so that's the part that I don't understand.
And this is why I'm injecting some gaudy poison into their hearts. Because we, as debate amongst friends, we have to allow people to understand that there is such callous hypocrisy going on right now that it's ridiculous. And until these media members confess to their hypocrisy and apologize for poisoning the minds of the people out there, that we're going to continually point out the differences, give the truth, and then once the truth becomes revealed, show that we have the reads for everyone.
And again, I mean, and we don't have to stay long on this topic, but to me, I don't think he should be released or traded. I think we should hold on to him. It's only been 13 games. I mean, again, we lost. I think the biggest loss that we had this offseason, honestly, was our assistant coach. I don't think it was anything more than that. So he came out of retirement, so I was very excited about that. And already, you can see that we've already won 2 games since that coach has come back. It's just ironic that Carmelo hasn't played in those 2 games. That's the irony part. But I would like to see Carmelo play under the tutelage of that coach, because obviously he makes a difference. So maybe it's not anything more than Mike D'Antoni